Everyone to RBCM at Home. My name is Kim Goff and I'm a learning program developer at the Royal BC Museum. Today, I am coming to you from my office, which is located at the Royal BC Museum, and we are on the traditional territories of the Songhees and the Esquimalt First Nations, the Lekwungen speaking people in Victoria, British Columbia. I want to extend my appreciation for the opportunity to live and learn on this territory. RBCM at Home started in March when our museum and archive were closed due to the pandemic. It was an opportunity to talk to staff about what they were working on from home. In the summer, we went on a virtual road trip and visited with museums around BC, and we had such fun doing it that we're continuing that trip today. Today, we are going to Prince George on the traditional lands of the Lheidli First Nations. Today, it is a city of 74,000 people and is the largest city in northern British Columbia. With many great things to recommend it, including the University of Northern British Columbia, where Mary Lou's grandson is going, an amazing outdoor recreation and art area, a beautiful art gallery, Prince George is also home to the Exploration Place, a hands-on science and history museum. And today, they are my guests. Please welcome, I have two wonderful people here with me today. Joining us are Chad Hellenius and Lisa Connor. Lisa has worked through many aspects of the organization to become the assistant director, and Chad is one of the assistant curators, and he's going to sneak us in behind the scenes. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thanks for having us today.
Oh, yeah. I first came up to the Exploration Place, I think it was 2 years ago for the BCMA meeting. So I got to come up to Prince George. I met Chad there. We had a nice little chat about the Exploration Place and what happened there. And we also got to come for a visit, which was totally fun. Tell us, Lisa, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Exploration Place, what people would find there and what they could see.
So we're a science center and museum, so we get to have lots of fun here exploring the science of different things and the history of different things in our collection. So we have different galleries. We have our biome, which is full of different critters, so our animal ambassadors to teach people about natural history. We have our history hall upstairs that talks about local history. We have our local First Nations, Hodule-Ea is the name of our gallery upstairs, and that was done in partnership with the Lheidli. So we have different things too as part of our operations. So we have lots of different educational programs, public programs. We have an adult speaker series that's still happening during COVID. We have a gift shop, lots of different aspects of our organization. And obviously since COVID's happened, I name all these great galleries, but we are closed to the public and have been since March 13th, Friday the 13th. So that's the day we closed our building, but we still are trying to do virtual things like this today so that we definitely are reaching out to our community and to people in the public. So we're really thankful to be here today.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your adult speaker series?
Yeah.
And how would people find out who's talking and how could they take part?
Yeah, so we have a great relationship with the local university here, and we have different professors and master's students that will come present their research projects. And we post that information on our website and on Facebook with a Zoom link that people can join in and see those presentations. We're on hold now because we just did our last one in November. So our next one will be in January, and we're just firming up our speaker there. So if people want to check out our website, we'll have that announced probably in December sometime.
That's great. And Lisa, I don't think you mentioned it, but I thought I heard once, is there also a daycare center that's operated at the Exploration Place?
Yeah, so Kim, you mentioned about how I had kind of worked my way up. So I've been at the Exploration Place 16 years. And part of one of my jobs here was working in our integrated learning department. So that's where we have an after-school care program that my son actually attended, and the preschool, Early Explorers Preschool, that my son attended as well. So we have those educational programs. And what makes it really cool is that the kids come here to a preschool or after school care program in a science center museum. So they have access to all these resources and professionals. So Chad used to do a program called What Does Chad Have with the preschoolers, where he'd bring up an artifact from our collection and the kids would have to guess about it.
That's a really fantastic collaboration. And is it fairly unique? Do you know of many other museums or science centers that do that type of thing?
I know that some science centers do an after school care club, but to actually have a childcare facility within an organization, I don't know if there's another one in Canada right now.
Yeah, it's a fantastic service for the community. It must make you pretty popular with the locals.
Definitely. And it really lets us reach out to families too, so that kids grow up in a science center museum and learn about history and science in this setting. So I think that's really important too for that younger generation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine that's had to close, or is that something that's been able to operate again?
No, we're closed right now with the goals of reopening again in the spring. So, I mean, I think everybody's feeling it right now too with COVID and just so many uncertainties, but we're definitely pivoting where we can and making things work where we can.
Yeah, sometimes a silver lining of COVID can be time to do some of those projects that have been sitting on the back shelf or sitting in the shelves in the basement or the collection area. And that's where Chad is now. He's in the collection area. Chad, tell us where you are.
Well, you just said it. I'm in our collections vault, deep in the depths of the museum here, and not many people. Myself and well, two other people have keys to the vault, so it's a pretty unique place for you to get a behind the scenes glimpse.
And tell us a bit about the size of the collection at the exploration place.
Well, our collection, so we have an archival collection, and then we have a collection of artifacts, plus we have a repository for other collections that do not necessarily belong to us. So our archival collection, if you're talking in archival terms, we're just over 1,000 linear feet of archives materials. That's not including our research library. So we have photographs, we have documents, we have city records dating back to the incorporation of the city of Prince George. And then we have a whole bunch of artifacts. Off the top of my head, I couldn't even tell you the number of artifacts, but they all relate to our regional district and the many stories that make up our regional district.
Now, Chad, we haven't really had a chat about, well, we may have had a chat. Some of our regulars can tell me, but for folks who haven't chatted with us before or talked to, I've seen some of the other conversations with museums, what is the purpose of a big collection that people don't see, that your visitors don't see?
Oh, well, I mean, we hope that at all points we're able to start getting more and more of our collections out. But I mean, conservation of the past is very much a very key part of collections, but we do want to exhibit as much of it as possible. I mean, we just don't have the space, the capacity to exhibit it all at once. So we try to circulate it through.
Oh, excellent. That's nice that it's so active. And can you tell us more about your role as an assistant curator? How do you work with those collections?
Well, I take care of them first and foremost. So I monitor making sure conservation standards are up to snuff. I do research on them. I do exhibit planning. Things like that. All sorts of times we get requests from the public for research on certain things. So I will go in and work with our collections where it's where it applies and answer set questions with those resources.
Awesome. And I think you have some things maybe you want to show us.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have quite a unique collection in that it's all over the place. Like I said, we have archival collections, we have a huge natural history collection of fossils, etc. I haven't brought out any fossils today, but I brought out some things that I thought might be fun for some people. And you mentioned Mr. PG's birthday. And the first thing I would like to show you is a piece that was donated by someone who's well loved by our museum and within the community, who last week celebrated his 99th birthday. And he's quite a regular when we were open, and he's donated quite a few materials to our collection. He was a World War II pilot by the name of Jack Milburn. And excuse me, I'm just going to pick up the laptop and hopefully we'll be able to see here. So this is Jack's right here. I just dropped my mouse. This is Jack's uniform from World War II. I don't know if you guys can, if I'm doing a good job of.
They were seeing it well. Mm-hmm.
So this would be his flight uniform. He was a sergeant during World War II. And so we missed saying happy birthday to him last week. So maybe if he's watching, we'll say happy birthday to him right now.
Happy birthday, Jack.
Happy birthday.
So yeah, and World War II actually figures quite prominently in the history of Prince George. And I've brought a few other things out from World War II that relate locally. This right here. So this is, during World War II, Prince George, many people don't realize that there was quite a large staging base in Prince George, and a lot of our infrastructure is because of that base. Everyone wonders why 15th Avenue is as wide as it is. It's because the military needed to tow extremely large equipment through there. So they built that road extremely large and wide, and it's wider than everywhere else. And it stayed that way. So it continues to affect our landscape. But this helmet is from Prince George, and it's ARP, the Air Raid Precautions Group. So what the Air Raid Precautions Group, they would do blackout drills. In case Prince George got bombed, it was important to know what to do. And you might not be surprised, given people's reaction to different precautions these days, that history repeats itself sometimes. And there was a few people who protested doing blackout drills and routinely would drive on the streets during blackout drills. A couple of them got arrested.
I guess being contrary is part of our human nature sometimes.
It never ends. It never ends, and that's part of the fun of working in collections. Is you find these little stories, and I like to look for the juicy stories. I'm not the greatest at remembering dates all the time, so I'll write them down when they're really important. But I like to remember the stories of these things. So hopefully that's what I'm delivering you guys. So World War II also brought us, and maybe I'll do this. Let me do this.
Ooh, moving us closer.
Rolling it in. So another prominent figure in our history was a local dance instructor by the name of Inga Anderson. And she was well known. They would put on dance recitals every year, and it was the thing that all of the city went to. And her students quite frequently would make their own costumes. And this is one of the costumes from that one of her students made. And so I don't know if you can tell from this, but this is all tissue paper. And
really?
Yes. And so this would have been roughly the 1920s that this was made. So it's actually held up quite well, if you think about it. Now, the reason this relates to World War II is directly because of Inga Anderson and her role in World War II, which was quite unique. She was one of the first people to go entertain the troops. And she wouldn't just go, and she, as soon as the war broke out, she went over and she entertained the troops on the front lines. Quite frequently, she was known to use bombed out buildings as a stage to sing and dance. And rumor has it that she was on Hitler's hit list for popularizing the song "We're Gonna Hang Out Our Washing on the Blitzkrieg line." I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it was essentially a song that was saying, "Hey, we're going to take this territory back from you, Hitler," and he didn't like that, so he was on her hit list, and she became known as the Blackout Girl because routinely there was combat going on behind her entertainment, right on the front line. So quite a unique character in Prince George's history.
Chad, did Inga come to Prince George after World War II?
No, she came to Prince George before World War II. She was originally from Argentina, and she moved here when she was 9 or 10. Her father was a lumberman. He was a local businessman, and so she really grew up here. And then she moved back many years later, after she went to Hollywood. She went on tour. She was noted as a dance master of America. She was quite well regarded in her time.
Can you give us her last name one more time so folks can look her up if they're interested?
Anderson, and that's an E-N, S-E-N at the end instead of an S-A-N.
I'm going to look her up.
Oh, she's quite a remarkable character. Whenever she came to, every year she would come back and visit her father, even while she was living abroad. And the newspapers would have a heyday. They would follow her around. And one time they went out to Summit Lake with her. Summit Lake, if you're familiar with the area, it's just north of here. And she routinely went out to Summit Lake. And as she was entertaining the journalists and this essentially the paparazzi that was following her around, they were walking down a trail, and a bear came down the trail, and the journalists all turned and ran, and Inga started chasing after the bear, throwing her shoes at it, telling it to shoo. Right, and so this was the headline: the blonde beauty scares off the bear in the wilderness. Right.
Well, he got in her spotlight. I totally understand.
Yeah. So moving on from World War II, Prince George has had its fair share of very unique characters. I think one of them, you mentioned someone was tuning in from Kelowna, and this person is well known throughout BC, but also in Kelowna is Mr. Ben Ginter. And,
I know Ben, yeah.
Oh, everyone, you love him or you hate him, or you love to hate him, right? So here's one of Ben's. Here we go. This is his when he started becoming known as Uncle Ben. Before the lawsuits, he was just Ben Ginter. And then he, I think it was him thumbing his nose at society when he decided to change his name to Uncle Ben. And he proudly wore this blazer around, buying people rounds of drinks at the local bars. He quite an inventive guy. He was he was very much a pioneer that doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, because he was just such a brash individual. But he was a real pioneer in bottle recycling, for one. He was, if not the first in Canada, definitely one of the first. And that was all because of monopolies that other companies and distribution agents had on bottles. They refused to sell to him. Again, probably because he made a lot of enemies from people. He was a pretty brash person, but a unique one, to say the least. This is one of my favorite pieces of his, and this is actually from his winery in Kelowna, which later became Mission Hills.
Mission Hill used to produce puddle duck.
Fuddle duck.
Oh, fuddle duck. Okay.
So this came out during the infamous, our Trudeau had his father who had the fuddle duddle comment, and Uncle Ben wanted his own brand of baby duck, and he was notorious for ripping off names. But this way he combined two things. There was a little bit of a political slip up, and he got his baby duck as well.
So when we recycle our bottles, we can think of Ben Ginter.
Very much so. When you crack a can, you can think of Ben Ginter. He revolutionized the industry in bringing cans into it, at least in Canada, and having a opener like that pop top. That was all him. Before that, people were opening cans with can openers a lot of the time.
Oh, neat. And if anybody has cellared their own bottle of Fuddle Duck, they should probably keep their hands on it. I don't imagine that's too common to find anymore.
I've seen at a BCMA down in Kelowna, they had some labels of it, but not the bottle. This one actually probably shouldn't have it still full in collections, but it would be interesting to see what it was like, or what it tastes like right now. I'm not going to volunteer myself, but
yeah, that's excellent. I think in Kelowna there is a little museum of the winery industry, and maybe that's where the labels are.
Yeah, I was a little sad because they had a lot of their artifacts on display in their gift store, and I thought at first that maybe some of these labels were for sale, and so I tried to buy them, and they were having none of it. But
well, I see that Jenny, who's our behind the house champion today, she's posted a link to the Exploration Place website, and Inga's dress is one of the things that you can have a look at on the website. Lisa, can you tell us a little bit more about how people can see or access your collections even though you are closed right now?
Well, so Chad, can you talk a little bit about the collections database? I'm actually going to throw that to Chad.
Oh, it's a database. Thank you.
So we're between databases right now. We hope to kick off the new database early in the new year. We're on track for that. So hopefully there's no major hiccups. Now I have to knock on wood, but we will be hosting a new database, and so we try to digitize as much of our collection as possible. So. Photographs, artifacts, archival materials. Our new database is going to give us much more exhibiting potential of it. So we'll be able to link particular artifacts with stories, with possibly audio, for instance, or possibly video, things like that. So it'll be quite a unique experience. Yeah, it'll be coming very soon.
That's excellent. Something to look forward to. Lisa, is there anything else folks can look forward to or should keep their eyes out for?
I'm just trying to think of what we have coming up. We've got the adult speaker series that I mentioned, so to keep your eyes open for that. And we have, I'm trying to think off the top of my head here. So many different things going on. Locally here, we're still doing our curbside pickup, but we are moving to an e-commerce site. So if people are living in different communities, once we have our e-commerce site set up, then people could purchase items. And basically we're going to be featuring these guys primarily on our e-commerce site just to get us started. So we're kind of excited for that too. So even though our doors are closed, we're definitely trying to, you know, explore options of what we can do here locally for our community. And then we're really excited to do things like this and partner with other organizations too. Just recently, I was a mentor for Science World for their Girls in STEAM event, just talking about my job and how I got here. And this was to youth that were in grade 6 to grade 8, and it was really exciting. So we're definitely seeking out opportunities like that as well.
That's terrific. If there are any questions from our participants, you can use the chat window or the Q&A. I think, you know, it's always so important what museums are doing to preserve the stories of their community. And thank you for sharing some of those colorful community member stories with us today. I really enjoyed getting a glimpse at your collection and looking behind the scenes. I want to thank everyone. Thank you for joining us, and let you know if you missed something or you joined us late and you'd like to go back, or you just would like to share this with someone who you think would enjoy it. We have recorded it, and you will find it on the Royal BC Museum's YouTube channel. So please have a look there. Our museum has reopened and we are ready to welcome people back. You can find out more on our website about timed tickets and exhibits and the COVID precautions that are in place. Our programs such as At Home, including At Home Kids, and At Outside will be taking place for the foreseeable future, and links for all of those programs are posted on the museum's website. Next week is December. And to start December off right, I'm going to have a chat with the provincial carillonneur, Rosemary Lang. So ever since 2007, Rosemary and I have been doing an event called Carol Along with the Carillon. So that's the big bell tower on the corner. And Rosemary plays the bells and we try to sing to it from the street. It's a lot of fun, but of course we can't do it this year. So instead we'll be online. We'll show you a little bit more about the carillon. Rosemary we've got some video. She can't be in the tower, but she'll play from her piano. So I hope you'll be able to join us then. So until then, please take care of yourselves and one another. And thanks again for joining us. There, we've just left Facebook, and Jenny's going to stop our recording.